All right, so as you've heard me talk about in other videos, ageism is alive and well in the U.S. My personal story, I worked for a Fortune 500 company in the refining industry, and actually they treated me pretty well. I'm not going to complain too much, although I was kind of pushed out. What they ended up doing was sticking a USB port in my brain, and for 3 years I sat down and wrote down everything I had done, all the procedures and everything for the past 3 years, or for the past 20 years, and it took me about a year and a half to do that. And after that, I really didn't have much of a luster for working anymore, so I went ahead and retired, which is probably what they wanted. Let's say you're 57 years old and you're planning on working another 5 to 7 years. Well, on average, you're going to have an income of about $85,000 a year. And what that's going to equate to is you've got a pretty good job, right? If you're drawing $85,000 a year or more, you're doing pretty well for yourself. So let's say you lose that job. Now at 57, you're going to go out and try to find another job. That can be kind of hard because although you've got all this experience, the companies know that the likelihood of you staying for another 10 years, is less than somebody if they hire them in their 30s. So statistics are going to show you that it's going to take you an extra 3 months to go ahead and find a job over someone who's younger than you are. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, ageism is, because as you progress in your career and you get towards that 60-year mark, companies are, I don't want to say wanting to get rid of you because they want to maintain a lot of knowledge, but at the same point in time, depending on the company and depending on what you do, you may have slowed down a little bit. Anyway, it's a double-edged sword because you get pushed out and then something happens and you get laid off, then you have a harder time even finding a job because of ageism. So it is alive and well in the U.S., and for some it can be a real problem. For others, like myself, it wasn't much of a problem. I probably could have stayed as long as I wanted to, but I wasn't very fulfilled in my job anymore. And here's a couple more statistics. So from 2011 to 2021, over 207,000 workers filed age discrimination cases. Now another thing is that the workforce age is getting older, right? As 1 in 6 people now in the United States are 65 years or older, 1 in 6, the average age in the workforce from 1990, it was 39 years old, and it's projected by 2029 to be 43 years old, or just shy of 43 years old. So that means that the workforce is growing in age, and you've got a lot more younger people that are going to be trying to start their careers and moving forward with building their lives, and a lot of older people who are in the middle of trying to save for their retirement. So there's only going to be so many jobs out there, and with AI and everything else, are those jobs going to be decreasing as the population is growing and is growing in age? I don't know. Another thing that's happening with ageism is studies are showing that it's taking its toll on people's health and their mental health, not only their physical health, but their mental health, which was kind of where I was at. I wasn't enjoying going to work anymore, and my physical health was getting worse because I was sitting behind a desk. And even though we did have a fitness facility right there, I wasn't utilizing it and taking advantage of it because I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about what I was doing. So when you suffer from ageism, and the discrimination that comes along with that, it can also have a very harmful effect on your health. So be careful of that. If you feel yourself just letting yourself go, you know what? Instead of focusing so much on your job, why don't you focus on other things? And I think it'll help you. So you hear a lot of talk these days about, Social Security won't be there when I get ready to retire, and Social Security's going away, and this, that, and the other. Here's kind of a fun fact about Social Security. When it was established, One of the main reasons that Social Security was established was to give an incentive for elderly people or older people to go ahead and retire and open up positions in the workforce. Yeah, because probably what's going to happen here in our future is there's only going to be so many jobs, and younger people, they don't have the option to go ahead and retire. You know, they've got to continue working. So what they did was they incentivized people to go ahead and retire. And it started that kind of three-legged stool that you hear about, where you got Social Security, you got pension income or savings, and you got a 401k, you know, traditional Roth, and or other things. You can have real estate, you can have small businesses. There's a multitude of things that can make up that three-legged stool. But anyway, Social Security, you know, I hope does not go away in any time in the future, because it really does help support people being able to retire and younger people being able to take over, rather than ageism having to push the older people out of their positions. And some other things to think about is that our life expectancy is getting older, right? People are just living longer now. Birth rates are decreasing, so there's going to be less younger people coming in. So depending on what the job market does, whether it grows or shrinks, you know, could be very violent. I should have looked that up to see what the projections on the workforce are, because you might think, well, you know, there's going to be more people and less jobs. Well, maybe there's less people and more jobs. I don't know. I didn't look up that part of it, but that would be interesting. So, you know what? Leave me a comment if you happen to, you know, have some insight, and let our community know, you know, what the job aspect looks like in the future and going forward. So what are some things we can do to kind of help ourselves? Number one is aggressively saving for retirement. Yeah, be aggressive in your savings. Don't just settle for 10% if you can put 15% or more in your savings. Especially if you don't have any kind of pension, or any, you know, if you're having a hard time finding that third leg in your stool, you're going to have to be pretty aggressive. And the other thing I would look at is being able to set up your retirement plan so you can retire earlier than 67 and full retirement age. Try to set it up so you're retiring at 62, even if you don't want to. Even if you say, you know what, I love my job and I want to continue working until I'm 70 years old, that's fine. Set up your plan so it's funded at 62. That way you don't have to stress so much. If you end up working till you're 70 because you want to, hey, that's great. That just means that you've got your retirement plan fully funded at 62, and you're going to grow that nest egg a little bit more. So, you know, that's a great thing. Or you could take, if you're fully funded, you could stop saving and start taking more vacations while you're working, and kind of enjoy those years between 62 and 67 or 70. You know, there's a multitude of things you could do with that extra money. So, hey, I hope this video's helped you out. And if it has, reach down, hit that like button, and watch this video next.